Hey guys, K420, I'm back. Back with the video, not as political as it looks, so stick around. It's got some juicy tidbits that even my regular viewers would like. So, in the midst of it, you might learn something that you didn't know. And not to mention the fact that anybody who cares about their privacy and cares about the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the ODNI, and the other 13 intelligence agencies that exist out there not having a legal right to spy on American citizens using the tools that we taxpayers paid for them to have to spy on foreign citizens. Since 9/11, the Patriot Act came out. That's exactly how it's written. You may spy on foreign citizens with these tools, but you may not spy on Americans. That's how it goes. So, do you think they followed those rules? If you've watched any news lately, you're definitely going to be on one side or another. You may even be thinking about clicking off this video. Don't. This is not about Republicans and Democrats. This isn't about Trump or Hillary or Trump or Bernie or Trump or who else was it? Oh, Jill Stein. This is about your privacy, your right to be on the internet, on your phone, on your social media site and put posts that align with your free speech, your right to free speech, not threatening violence, because of course, like if you yell fire in a cinema, that's not your free speech. That's cause you're basically what's gonna happen. You're causing a violent outcome. But other than that, you have the right to speak how you want, when you want, and where you want, without threat of the government collecting that data, storing it, and at some point in time pulling it back out and using it against you. Is there a point in time that you may not disagree with what the government's doing, that you may find yourself wanting to protest or vote against what the current administration is doing? Okay, well, what if you were in China? Right now in China, if you come out against the government, you get points taken off your social credit score. What is the social credit score? I don't have time to explain all that right now. We'll do a video on that. But it's what we're getting to here in America, and it's scary. And the proof in that is that these guys, these FBI power hungry little men, used weapons that taxpayers paid for them to use, to spy on foreign citizens against us Americans. And that's wrong. And while they were doing that, in the midst of doing that, so they could have a relationship with media, because the whole reason they were spying was to what? To leak it to the media, to get it out there. So they had not just this incestuous relationship of them stealing our data and releasing it to the media, but they were literally having sexual relationships, because I'm always good at digging up that dirt, right? All right, guys, let's check it out. If you know Mike Moore, aka Thomas Paine, writer for True Pundit, you can look him up. I have NewsGuard on, guys. NewsGuard will only green checks sources that they feel are fair and biased, non-biased sources. So anyway, breaking: sex scandal rocks FBI. Top agents under fire for reported sexual affairs with CNN reporters. Excuse me. If you notice, I just want you to see this. August 6th, 2019, 10 a.m. That's almost a month ago. How many of you have heard of this? How many of you heard of it briefly, or maybe heard it mentioned about the IG report from the Inspector General? Or maybe you heard it spun somewhere on CNN, but never more than a split second coverage. Yeah. Well, I checked out BitChute because I have a BitChute channel. I checked out Minds because I have Minds. I have been all over digging this story up, and it's been hard just getting the research I need on it, let alone finding anyone else who's reporting on it. That makes me even more curious. And when I get curious, then you know what happens. Well, then I bring you guys the dirt. Oh, the air's on. One moment. Sorry. I hope that didn't just drown out my. I'm sure I talked loud enough for everyone. Sex scandal rocks FBI. Top agents under fire for reported sexual affairs with CNN reporters. High ranking FBI insiders say they have reported top level FBI brass for continued sexual romps with CNN reporters. But former FBI Director James Comey and his successor, Christopher Wray, looked the other way and did nothing. The extramarital affair between fired FBI boss Peter Strzok and FBI top lawyer Lisa Page is public knowledge. Page has resigned from the Bureau. That is the only affair that we've all heard about, smattered all over TV. Do you wonder why that is? Do you know that there was another couple that were having an affair at the same time that was working on the same case? Another FBI couple, and they got married? Yeah, they were having an affair on their wife and husband at home, and we don't even know their names. Those names have been redacted. But Strzok's name has surfaced again in regard to the unfolding CNN scandal. Apparently, Strzok, remember that text message from Lisa Page right around, I don't know, maybe it was like October 2016? Maybe it was October 2017. I don't know. But it was the last one she sent, and it said, "Don't ever text me again." I think Lisa might have found out about this. According to insiders, other top FBI bosses are implicated as well for sexual trysts with CNN reporters and anchors. On-air personalities, guys. FBI agents are having sexual relationships with, affairs with on-air personalities. Here's what we know. High-level FBI officials complained to the highest executive office of the FBI that Strzok and more top agents were engaged in sexual relationships with CNN's on-air personnel. I'm not making this up. These are the people that plug in the cameras. On-air personnel. Those high-ranking sources say top management did not investigate the reports, and the relationships continued, and the sexual romps still might continue today. FBI agents having sexual relations with the media is something that's not only frowned upon at the FBI, but is highly problematic. Look no further than the classified leaks that CNN has published. Breaking anti-Trump stories with insider information from Justice Department insiders. Everyone saw the text between Strzok and Page, but they both worked here, one FBI insider said. I can imagine the text between agents and their girlfriends who don't have a security clearance. You think? I sure hope the Trump Justice Department is on this one. And who are paid to publicize the insider intelligence or spread rumors, and the anti-Trump FBI bosses want to spread a perfect setup for fake news or an organized propaganda underground to slander the Trump White House or other enemies. Strzok and Page, for instance, were caught leaking stories to the Washington Post and other mainstream news outlets according to the content of their text, which has been made public. The content of those stories had a negative slant toward President Trump. FBI insiders believe classified and sensitive intelligence was leaked to CNN as a byproduct of agents engaged in sexual affairs. Strzok also works for Robert Mueller's probe. Yeah, that he got fired from it, and his campaign, Strzok also worked as an investigator for Robert Mueller's probe of Trump and his campaign before the FBI boss was fired from the team for anti-Trump text. Mueller's team also leaked several stories during that time frame. When Strzok was employed under Mueller, many of those stories were first published where? By CNN. Guys, there is 15 ex-agents employed by CNN, and I am not exaggerating. I told you I am going to do a specific video later on tonight. Come back. It's going to be all of the spooks working at all of the mainstream news agencies. There's over I believe there's over 60, or between 50 and 60. We are going to go over some of the big ones and some of the ones that I think might be involved in this. The FBI for decades did not permit married agents to engage in extramarital affairs with anyone, especially members of the media. That offense was ground for termination because FBI directors like Louis Freach believed agents could be compromised and blackmailed, outside influence, and therefore the practice was outlawed. While Freach was a strict taskmaster on the subject, Comey and Wray looked the other way. Ignoring such problematic reports has angered many FBI agents and bosses, and the fact that the troubling allegations were provided in detail to Comey and later Wray were never investigated smacks of an overt cover-up, and yet another black eye for the embattled FBI. The story is developing. Thomas Paine. So, over a month, nothing updated yet. Sorry, I needed a drink. Not by Thomas Paine anyway, but I want to touch on a couple other. There's more, because Thomas started this, and there was a few news sites that looked into it and were able to elaborate a little bit based on some stuff that was in the IG report. So let me close that down. All right, here we go. Because they weren't just getting sex. Wait till you see this. These FBI agents had it made. They were getting laid at work. They were getting laid by media. They were given gifts. All this, yo. FBI employees received improper gifts from reporters routinely leaked to media without authorization, says the what? The Investigators General report. This isn't just somebody came up with the source. This is in the final IG report about this. I have it up. We'll pull it up in a minute. Let's see here.
At McCormick, we're obsessed with flavor. It's why we partner.
Sorry, I don't want it over there.
With sustainable farmers to find the finest herbs and spices.
Sorry, I gotta get some music, don't I? Oh, come on. I got there you go. Don't buffer. I got a buffer booster on. Darn you. It's only the ones that are inside newspaper articles. You know what I mean? It's never regular videos anymore. I don't ever get the buffer with that. But anytime I click on one in a newspaper article, this is how it goes down. So I'll just read it. Fine. I just want to make sure it doesn't start playing during when I'm talking. Okay. Shut it off. There we go. All right. 3 takeaways from the IG report. Numerous FBI employees accepted improper gifts from reporters and routinely spoke to media outlets without authorization during the Hillary Clinton email probe, the Justice Department's watchdog revealed in Thursday's long-awaited accountability report. The shocking revelation came just a week after the former security director from the Senate Intelligence Committee, who was in charge of maintaining all classified information from the executive office to the panel, was indicted for allegedly giving false statements to FBI agents looking into possible leaks into reporters. Two reporters, sorry. We identified instances where FBI employees improperly received benefits from reporters, including tickets to sporting events, golf outings, drinks and meals, and admittance to non-public social events. Sorry. Oh, look at that. Breaking. Walmart to pull back on gun sales. Well, Walmart, you're going to lose a lot of money. Anyway, we identified instances where FBI employees improperly benefit from reporters' tickets. I just read all that. Sorry. Because the inappropriate gifts were outside the scope of the IG's look at the Clinton investigation, they will separately report on those investigations as they are concluded. So he has not done a separate he hasn't done a separate report on it yet. So the next one to come out is the FISA. That's this IG has been putting out a report every few months on each. He's got about 7 investigations, major investigations he's looking into right now involving the Hillary Clinton and the Trump and the Trump campaign, the Hillary Clinton email scandal, how the FBI handled it, how the NSA and CIA created an illegal back channel for spying, all that. That's all going on behind the scenes. So there's an IG report every few months, and you should be reading as much of them as you can. It's the only place you're going to get the facts. Everybody else is going to give you their spin, their version, their opinion, but you want to read it word for word. You want to know what truly happened out of the mouth of the horse, as they say. Then you need to read these IG reports. You need to be looking for them to come out and pay attention. All right. We have profound concerns about the volume and extent of unauthorized media contacts by FBI personnel. That was also in the IG report. And in a chart attached to the report, the IG identified dozens of FBI officials who spoke to reporters. I want to say it's 14 guys, and not one of them, even though all of them had been referred for prosecution by the IG, meaning he found what these FBI agents did as a crime, and he referred it to the to the Attorney General. The Department of Justice decided not to prosecute 12 out of the 14 leakers. So 12 of these agents just did all of this, got to cheat, bang media and CNN media reporters and anchors, and leak numerous classified stories to these people. God, what if there was undercover agents whose names and identities and locations could have been in those leaks, and they were giving them to the wrong people. Say there was someone in CNN that, instead of working for the ex-CIA, maybe they're ex-Mossad, maybe they're another ex-intelligence agency, and they're unaware of it. Now they've seen the classified information, and they're sharing it back with their country. That's why the classified information should never leave classified channels, ever. Period. And I don't even have a freaking classified security clearance, and I know that. We have profound concerns, he says. These leaks highlight the need to change what appears to be a cultural attitude among many. I'm tired of hearing this isn't the low party. This isn't the everyday FBI agent. These are the top 1% of them. The brat. No. This is a cultural attitude that the entire FBI has started to take on, and it's scary because I support law enforcement. But when law enforcement feels that power, because the presidents are only presidents for 4 years, but they're in their positions through many presidents, they are started to feel like they don't have to keep quiet about their political leanings. They don't have to just go along, and be unbiased no matter who's in. No, they're literally divide. There's a big giant division across this country, and that includes in law enforcement. There is a huge divide that is happening that we are all nobody's really looking at. Some of us recognize it, but we don't realize how big this divide is getting. And I just hope that we can pull it back together before it's too late, because it's scary looking at. To me, I'm scared to know what the next 20 years is going to hold. The IG outlined numerous instances of apparent bias by several FBI officials, including text message in which an FBI agent working on the Clinton email probe called Trump supporters retarded. Oh, my stomach is growling. I hope that's not on camera. All right. Next, I might come back to this one, but hang on. All right. So Gray's Economy, it's more of like a market watch type thing, but they keep track of what's going on because of course certain things going on in government affect the market. FBI's Strzok slept with CNN reporters during dossier probe. New FBI sex scandal has been uncovered and it unbelievably involves some of the same characters. Disgraced FBI official Peter Strzok is implicated in having sexual relations with CNN on-air personalities while working on the fraudulent Russian dossier. And then basically it just goes back and references the same article I just read you. So I'm going to keep going. I want to get to the IG report and I want to show you before you leave. I have 2 cases at the end that I really want you to stick around and see. It's not to do with the CNN. I want to show you that this isn't just a one-off. This has been happening and it's going to continue to happen until we call it out. Guys, this is a sports channel. If a sports channel can have this conversation on August 7th, a day after it was the article was published, why is it not on mainstream news? Why? Think about that. Why haven't you heard about this? Well, because they're having sex with the same people who are telling you the lies every day on CNN. You think they're going to tell you the truth when it was them in bed with these people? And this is just a quick, I don't want to spend too much time. This is Daily Caller, another mainstream. This came out a year before all of the stuff I told you today. That's kind of why I wanted to point this out, is that a year before it came out in True Pundit, Daily Caller had gotten a hint that FBI agents were receiving free handouts at the tickets and the meals and the free perks. They had no idea how deep it had gotten. Because this article was written, I imagine that Thomas Paine and others started using their sources in the FBI to find out what was really going on. And within a year, they discovered that Peter Strzok and many other top brass were having sexual relationships with anchors and reporters from CNN. And I can't wait to find out who it is because I'm going to make another video with their face on my thumbnail instead of just talking about it. All right. Here's a case I want you guys to listen to. This is the head of Overstock.com. No, not anymore because he resigned. But he has to do with this. Now, there's 2 different things going on here. But what I want you to pay attention to is this video. He has never, apparently some time ago, he had a friend die and he cooperated with the government to find out who killed him. And he's saying because of that cooperation, they called him again another time and asked for his help, in which he and then the third time, Peter Strzok was the one that gave him his instructions. And I think we should just listen because this man is a man that is desperate to get this information out. I almost think because he thinks they're going to kill him. This was a billionaire, had no reason.
CEO Patrick Byrne today resigning after 20 years of guiding the company into one of the premier shopping sites on the internet. His letter of resignation mentions the turmoil that was caused by his admission last month of a bizarre series of events involving a Russian spy, the FBI, and what he describes as a destructive deep state within that institution. Here now to explain it all for himself is Patrick Byrne. Patrick, great to see you. I'm all ears. Why did you resign?
Well, first I'm going to talk about Overstock. Tuesday was our 20th anniversary. We just had a big party. Everything's in a perfect place.
I know you guys want to I want to get it to the point.
Other issue, and no, I'm not getting chased out. And the board, this is me eject. They knew me.
Wait, hang on. I want to get to the point. There we go. He takes the hand off.
I said some Sparkies out there, they didn't quite get the joke. When I say that I know about the Russia and Clinton investigation, this is what I mean. Because 17 years ago, I helped them crack a murder, and they knew me, and I helped them a bit on Wall Street 12 years ago. They knew me, and they called me in 2015, 2016 to assist in something. And I didn't know who the orders came from, but I assisted. It's some very honorable federal agents and very honorable people, but they named some names, and well, they didn't name the names. That's it. I didn't know who it came from, and I took some orders that seemed a little fishy in 2015, 2016. Last summer, watching television, I figured out the name of who sent me the orders, and this has all now been confirmed to me. The name of the man who sent me the orders was a guy named Peter Strzok.
Oh, my goodness.
Anything? Got it? Capiche?
Yeah.
So this is going to be quite a whirlwind, and I have to. It's only
That's
right.
huge
I gotta get
news,
away from
Peter.
it.
That hasn't been revealed so far as I know as of yet, but that's
This is it.
Peter
You're the
Strzok.
guy,
So
you're the
are you
show.
working with the Attorney General in his investigation?
Let me be clear. I'm not working with anybody. I want to spend the rest of my life. The last time I talked to federal officers 5 months ago, and I explained everything to them between April 5th and 30th over a course of 7 hours, and then I disappeared. Bill Barr, there's going to be a sculpture of granite of this guy somewhere. I've been sitting on this stuff for 3 years. I couldn't come forward until there was rule of law in this country. I wasn't going to go forward when this guy, Jeff Sessions, Truman said of an opponent, I could carve a better man out of a banana. That's how America should feel about Jeff Sessions. We have rule of law, and I came forward to them in April. I believe what I understand, and I don't want to get in any federal way. I want to disappear, but there are other whistleblowers from within the federal bureaucracy with similar stories. And I can tell you the bottom line, and again, people didn't seem to get it last time. The bottom line is the big cover-up. There was political espionage conducted against Hillary Clinton, Mark Rubio, Cruz, and Donald Trump. And this isn't a theory of mine. This is some political position. I was in the room when it happened. I was part of it. I thought I was doing law enforcement.
I'm not stopping this. I'm going to let you finish listening to this. Though, if you're still here with me, did you hear what he said? This isn't about division, you guys. He said this is about political spying, not just on Trump, on Hillary Clinton, on Donald Trump, on Marco Rubio. These FBI punks were spying on all of the ones. They wanted to know some dirt on them so they could have, pull a what's the guy that used to run the FBI? I just lost his name. Is it true? No, I can't think. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that this isn't about Democrat or Republican. They were spying on both you guys. They were using the weapons we gave them to spy on foreigners, to spy on all of our presidential candidates. Listen.
Sorry.
Hey, Patrick, Gary Smith, welcome to the show, and I hope the rest of your post-CEO career goes well. Question first of all, your story sounds like it should be a movie for theatrical release, so I want to know who's going to be playing you, but more importantly,
Denzel Washington. I'll cooperate with anyone who can get Denzel Washington to play me.
Sounds good.
You mentioned during the break that you're going to have a rough few months. I'm curious as to why you said that and what you see happening in the next few weeks and months. Do you have legal counsel? What do you think will happen with you and with your story?
Well, this is extraordinarily. Well, who the heck knows? This is quite a ambiguous situation. But the issue is, I realized that these orders I got came from Peter Strzok, and as I put together things, I know much more than I should know, and it's right to keep silent. This country's gone nuts, and especially for the last year, when I've realized what I know. Every time I see one of these things, somebody drives 600 miles to gun down 20 strangers in a mall, I guess I feel a bit responsible. So I have to come forward. I went to see my rabbi, and you know who my rabbi is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's my rabbi? Who's my rabbi, David?
Tell us, Patrick.
It's this guy in Omaha, and he said, Patrick, you come forward. He said, you can't let this sit with the feds. Let the feds do their job. You have to come forward to the American people. So I am. I never heard of the guy. I only figured out last summer who had sent me these requests. It was a guy named Peter Strzok. and he was doing it on behalf of 3 officials. I'm just identifying now as X, Y, and Z. I've identified, they were named to me, and I've identified them to to law enforcement. I believe there's a massive federal investigation that is going to turn up that there was political espionage conducted through a number of different venues against Hillary Clinton and against Rubio, Cruz, and Trump. I know for a fact. I know other people who were involved. That's what really happened. And my rabbi has said, you can't go another, you have to do this right now. People are killing each other in America. This is my...
Okay, I don't want to keep going. You can check it out. It's scary, guys. They have divided us using this hate Trump narrative. Either you are a racist, homophobic Trump lover, or you're this supposedly, people loving open borders, wanting liberal, and that's not true. They're just saying that to try to divide us, and they used people in the government. The government, our government, the FBI reached out to billionaire business overstock CEO and said, hey, you worked for us before. Can you come do some spying again and for us? Only this time they had him do illegal things and have a sexual relationship with a Russian woman and make it look like it was something that it wasn't. And when he realized that he had been used and that there was people killing each other in this country because of Trump hating and Trump loving and all that other stuff, he stepped up and said, even though I have already told the feds, and even though I know they're investigating it, I'm going to tell the American people, and hopefully they will see that they're being conned into fighting each other. And I commend him for that. The sad part of all this, if you're still here right now, this is the sad part. I found this last night and it made me sick to my stomach. Remember I told you I wanted to see if there was any updates on the case from True Pundit? Well, yeah. I don't know how and I don't know why, and I'm not sure if there's any other articles on this yet, but apparently Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, has allowed fired Peter Strzok, the one that I just said had sexual relationship with with a lawyer at the FBI while married with CNN anchors and hosts, is now allowed back at the FBI. And I'll show you real quick. Almost a year and a half after he was fired from his top post, Peter Strzok is back in the building and in the FBI's good graces. That's because he's an ex-CIA. And he knows everything. He knows where the bodies are buried, and they can't get rid of him without him threatening. He's got a lawsuit right now. He's got a lawsuit saying that he was only fired because Trump pressured the Justice Department. No, Strzok's own co-workers made up the committee that fired him. Nobody else, his own co-workers. But anyway, it says Strzok is in the building headquarters all the time. He is taking meetings or part of meetings. What? FBI sources confirm Strzok has been granted access to the FBI facilities in Washington, D.C. and its headquarters on numerous occasions since he was sacked August of last year. Strzok has not been stripped of his security clearances, says an insider. He is getting in with a visitor's badge and is involved in meetings. Maybe they are all trying to get their story straight before this thing goes public. Such things include declassification of the FISA warrant and the FBI used to spy on the campaign of Donald Trump. One of the warrants is scheduled to be declassified and released this summer. However, Chris Wray is trying to delay it. Chris Wray, you are disgusting. At all costs. While Americans were under the impression Strzok was a disavowed insider, that's not the case. Even top FBI officials are wondering how and why he has been allowed to come back to FBI headquarters. Likewise, sources said when Strzok is not at the Hoover building, that's what I was talking about, he has been holding meetings in the high-level DOJ brass at a location across the street from the Bureau's Pennsylvania Avenue base. But why? Chris Wray is not saying. The FBI fired Strzok, who helped lead the Bureau's investigation. I read all this to you. He was a 22-year member. He was involved in busting, people who were selling secrets to China. Russian spies were selling secrets to China. This man knows where the bodies are buried, and he knows what was in all Hillary Clinton's emails. Donald Trump, why are you letting this man back into your White House? That's what I'd like to know. He almost destroyed your presidency. Why, or not your White House, into your FBI building? If he almost destroys your presidency, he has divided this country. He has turned everyone against each other. Why is he anywhere near an FBI building? The whole point was he was fired and stripped of his pension. He doesn't even have his own pass to get in the building. He's using a visitor's pass. Who issued Peter Strzok's visitor's pass? That's the real question.